something I'm saying people say now is everyone sees what Junior does on the court, and then they turn around and say, but he can't defend, he can't do this. But he's like, but people are saying there are other guys who they can't do those things, but you're telling us to be patient with them while playing those guys. Junior Lofton is 21 years old, just like the rest of these guys, or younger. He's younger than some of these other guys we're calling young guys. Why isn't he granted the same type of grace amongst the fan base? Like, why do we look at Junior like he's a guy who's, well, he really don't matter, he really don't count, but we want to develop these other guys.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna start with this. Something simple. It's just the big man rotation is the deepest area of the team, in my opinion. That, and minus Brandon Clark, they still got plenty of bodies there. With that being said, now I'm about to throw a scenario back at you, because this is what I think it comes down to at the end of the day. This is the situation with Kenneth Lofton Jr. because I think he should play too. Yeah. But this is the situation that the Grizzlies have to deal with. If you go towards the end of last season, the best two-man lineups, everyone talked about Bain and Luke Kennard. That was the second best. Number one net rating two-man lineup was when Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama were on the floor together. Yeah. Well, guess what? Santi Aldama is still progressing as a defender. He can move laterally, but his strength is one of his weaknesses right now. We see him getting pushed out the way from time to time, and then he lacks defensive awareness in certain situations. He's growing in that area, but he isn't a plus defender, I would say, at this point. He's probably around average. So you got Santi Aldama, who isn't a plus defender, and you got Xavier Tillman coming off the bench. Defensive versatility is Xavier Tillman's strength. Maybe not one-on-one against Anthony Davis, but he can go down the line, hold up against D'Angelo Russell, then Austin Reeves, then LeBron James. Like, he can hold his own 1 through 5. Xavier Tillman can. So defensively, he's sound. He's solid. You got him and Santi. They mix well together. What the Grizzlies did with Santi Aldama in that first preseason game is when Santi came in, he played alongside of Jaren. And Xavier Tillman, you know, he got mixed in there as well, primarily with Jaren, but they would mix him in with the Roddy and situations like that as well. But here's the thing, when it comes down to Kenneth Lofton Jr., this is what I'm about to throw back at you. All right. If Kenneth Lofton Jr. were to be a part of the second unit, you would need him to be on the floor with Jaren Jackson Jr., like in those rotations. I think if you put Kenneth Lofton Jr. and Santi Aldama as your front court, you ask for a lot of points to be scored against you. I think it can work if you put Kenneth Lofton Jr. on the floor with Jaren Jackson Jr. But if you do that, now you don't have the Jaren Jackson Jr. Santi pairing no more. That's your best big man net rating lineup. Right. So you make a good point. So that's what I want to throw back at you. Is it worth putting Junior on the floor if you have to give up Santi and Jaren? And that's why I think the Grizzlies haven't done it.
And I think he probably has a certain responsibility he's got to meet as well, because all these things that we're talking about, is that like they aren't trying these things at camp? I'm sure that those scenarios might not look good. You know what I mean? It might be one of those type of situations where we know we have to play him with Jaren, like, period. He probably wouldn't work with anyone else but Jaren. Maybe him and Steve, whatever. But I think they probably tried all these situations with him, but they just don't like what they see. I'm a super big proponent for Junior Lofton. I think he can be an incredible player. But I think there are levels he's got to take to on his own. He's got to learn that when I'm not the featured player, I still have to find ways to contribute big time. Because right now, it's like he's very one-dimensional. But I just would like for fans to understand he's a 21-year-old developmental player as well. Give him the same time and grace
that you
allow for these other dudes. Because I think, if anything, I think he could be an incredible change of pace forward. If Tillman's struggling, if Santi's struggling, just see what you can get. Instead of coming back Santi and Jaren, throw out some Jaren and Junior and see what you get out of it. That's
you know how they say a lot of dudes like ahead of their time. Like
he's behind his time.
Yeah, right. Like 10 years ago, this man would have been like a focal point of an offense.
Yeah, some team would have drafted him to be like their focused offensive big for sure.
Exactly.
He would have been like what's the guy's name? He played for Minnesota for a while.
Oh, Al Jefferson.
Al Jefferson, yeah, he would have been one of those types, but much shorter for sure. Like I said, I think we're both supportive of Kenneth Lofton for sure, but we'll see how that whole thing plays out. But when you're in an overtime game in the preseason, just give him the ball. Just get out the way and give him the ball for sure.